Got the game from the old school. Focus on break no rules. Operate on my own truth. I've been making my own moves. I keep hearing this game saying you could be the one if you so choose. Got the game from the old school. Focus on break no rules. Operate on my own truth. I've been making my own moves. I keep hearing this game saying you could be the one if you.
Alright guys, Fuller coming to you with another video. Shout outs to the whole LDBC. If you like this video, please feel free to subscribe to the channel and also like this video, share it, hit the notification icon to stay in the loop of the video and of things that I do on this channel. So today, September 12th, I didn't do a video about September 11th because I already knew that thing was a proxy for a more sinister scheme, but that's neither here nor there. I'm not going to get into that, but anyhow, today is a special day because it is the birthday of one guy who basically changed my whole family's life, and one guy who basically was a real one in every sense of the word, but unfortunately didn't get to live to see his work flourish. Didn't get to live to see his work really, how should I put it, really like go into effect. And the guy we're talking about is Amilcar Cabral, aka Abel Dajassi. Now, Amilcar Cabral, he means so many things to so many people. For me, he means revolution. For me, he means tranquility. For me, he means grassroots. For me, he means flexibility. For me, he means organization. For me, he means being African. For me, he means being internationalist as well. For my dad, he means guerrilla warfare. For my dad, he means a way out of a oppressive situation. For my dad, he meant being welcomed into a situation that didn't necessarily start as his own situation. Now, Amilcar Cabral was born on this day in 1924. Now, mind you, he is of Cape Verdean descent, but he was born in Guinea-Bissau because what happened was that during the colonial period, you had a lot of Cape Verdeans who was working in Guinea-Bissau because they would call them assimilados. And the thing is, there wasn't really anything going on in Cape Verde as it is because of the simple fact there was drought, there was like famine. There were some very difficult times going on over there. So Amilcar Cabral's parents were no exception. and they moved to Bafasa, Guinea-Bissau, where Amilcar Cabral was. And I believe Amilcar Cabral also had a sister and a half-brother. Now the thing is about him is he was a multi-layered guy who really left an impact on me being multi-layered. For one, you know, he was trained as an agronomist. Agronomy. Not gonna lie, that inspired me to major in agronomy, which I did and got a degree in. Number two, he was a hell of a soccer player. Meaning, he was a hell of a soccer player to a point where teams in Europe were trying to recruit him. Now, I don't know what position he played, but that's how good he was. Now, that leads to me being adept at sports for fun, but because I do it for fun, it's opening doors for bigger things. And that happened in boxing. You know, my uncle's always been a boxer. I've always been in the gym with my uncle off and on. But now things are happening in a way that I didn't expect them to happen. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Amilcar Cabral didn't have the idea of going professional in soccer, but that's just how the ball rolls, and that he was so good that that could have been a career option for him. Now boxing is another career option for myself that I am going by in a smart, calculated, smooth manner. That's not going to mess me up. Also, Amilcar Cabral was into dramas, into acting, you know, role play. Amilcar Cabral was also a poet too. You know, so these are just many things. These are just the many layers of Amilcar Cabral that I can appreciate. Now, granted, at the time, you know, basically, the way of Portuguese divide and conquering led to a way that made, you know, Cape Verdeans not actually feel African, you know, that actually they felt Portuguese, you know. Amilcar Cabral, I don't know what it was, but I guess it could have been the curriculum that he endured in I want to say Lisbon, where he studied for his degree, that led him to rediscover his Africanness because of the little subtle racism that he got there, you know, that made him like reclaim his Africanness. He broke it down in such a way where he actually talked about the you know, where certain tribal groups went to on the islands of Cape Verde. Like, he talked like, okay, the Mandingas were shipped here, the Fulas were shipped here, the Papels were shipped there, the Manjaks were shipped there, the Wolofs were shipped there, the Bambaras were shipped. He actually went into detail about that, you know. And the reason why he wanted Guinea-Bissau and Cape Verde to be one is because of that shared history. You know, that's why he wanted that connection between the two. That's why he wanted to have it one entity, because there was already back and forth between the two places, you know, due to the simple fact, as I said before, you had a lot of Cape Verdeans working in Guinea-Bissau, you know, and some Guinea-Bissauans, they were in Cape Verde as well at the time. Now, you know, for whatever reason, You know, Amilcar Cabral decided to embark upon a quest of independence. You know, he thought, you know, that enough was enough already. He saw how oppressive the Portuguese system was. He saw how the Portuguese system was using people, and saw how forced labor was actually part of the Portuguese system. Since he was trained in agronomy, he got to know the land. He got to know the people. He got to know the habits of the people. He got to know some of the local dialects of the people, not just Creole, but different dialects too. So with this being said, you know, he just saw the situation and knew it had to change. The last straw of the situation was the Kansanga massacre, which workers were striking and Portuguese gunned them down. So Amilcar Cabral decided it was time for armed struggle. And it must be said that my dad was from the Senegambia region and got recruited into the fray. There were not only people from Guinea-Bissau and Cape Verde involved in this, but you had people originally from Guinea-Conakry involved. You had people originally from Senegal involved. You had people originally from Gambia involved who just settled in what is now known as Guinea-Bissau, what is now known as Cape Verde. The thing that Amilcar Cabral did was just very difficult to do. He basically started with nothing in doing this movement. It was just basically a bunch of people, or a few people at a round table, and they just decided to form these revolutionary groups in order for freedom to happen. So Amilcar Cabral formed the PAIGC, which stands for the African Party of Independence for Guinea and Cape Verde. Augustine Nieto formed MPLA, which is Angola's movement. Edouard Modelaine, he formed Frelimo, which is Mozambique's movement. And all of these movements, all of them, the one in Guinea-Bissau, Cape Verde, the one in Angola, the one in Mozambique, they all had to do armed struggle for freedom. Now granted, the one for Guinea-Bissau, Cape Verde, mostly, not, I would say like 95% took place in Guinea-Bissau due to the simple fact that it had more favorable terrain to wage guerrilla warfare, basically. Now, Amilcar Cabral, because he was so well spoken, his movement started gaining support. You know, so I'm going to get into something and then I'm going to come back to it later. But his movement gained support from all the ethnic groups across the board: the Creoles, the Balantas, the Manjaks, the Papels, the Mandingas, the Fulas. All these ethnic groups under one umbrella, irregardless of religious creed, irregardless of skin tone, and the like thereof, which divide people today, which divide us Africans today. And so I think that was the most significant thing that I took from that movement. Yeah, I may be Fulani, okay? But my Mandinga is still my brother. My Wolof is still my brother. My Balanda is still my brother. My Manjak is still my brother. My Creole is still my brother, okay? We are under the same circumstances, basically, especially being in this country we call United States. We have the same circumstances. At any given moment, it could be us, you know? Another thing I took from Amilcar Cabral is this. He was calm exterior, but interior he was fierce. If you read the works about him, he will talk very harshly about the guerrilla warfare that he wants to wage. He's like, hit them while they're sleeping, hit them at their cemeteries, hit them so they won't be able to rest, hit them so they'll always be thinking of or always be worried about you hitting them. And you know, eventually what happened, this small grassroots movement started getting support. The base of PAIGC was in Guinea-Conakry. People got sent to different parts of the world for training. Some got sent to Russia. Some got sent to China. Some got sent to Tunisia, Morocco, Algeria. Some got sent to Cuba. My mom was one of them who did. And we're going to get to that. So, to take it a step further, Amilcar Cabral also involved women. I mean, in certain aspects of African society, a woman is looked at as someone who has to serve her husband and produce children, and that's the end of story. But Amilcar Cabral expanded upon that and had women actively involved in the struggle. One such woman, by the name of Fatuma Jallo, did something as simple as cook for the military personnel, the guerrilla fighters. Some women became nurses in that point. Other women were actually guerrilla fighters. You have Fatimata Sibili, who was actually on the ground level fighting the Portuguese, firing that AK. So that's one thing he expanded upon. It's real feminism, not this neoliberal feminism that gets shoved down our throats. But listen, unfortunately his dream did not come true in its entirety. Unfortunately, with collaboration from the CIA, the Portuguese secret police as well, and also I want to say also some African stooges who just, for whatever reason, wanted to side with the Portuguese for whatever reason. I don't know why the reason, but he was murdered. You know, he was assassinated. First he was shot in the chest, and then they just finished the job, man. And yes, there were people who knew Amilcar Cabral who did it. And because of that, that's when the old habits started festering again. The rivalry between Guinean and Cape Verdean occurred more. Favoritism was shown towards Cape Verdeans in positions during and after independence. And so you just had this whole kind of, you know, division when Amilcar Cabral worked so earnestly to try to keep it from coming apart like it did. And then to take it a step further, Amilcar Cabral was trying to diversify the Guinean economy and not have monoculture, which is this one crop that you depend largely on, but actually have many crops and produce that for food self-sufficiency. But now, unfortunately, Guinea-Bissau is a narco state. You know, I just phoned as a matter of fact, I just phoned my uncle, who's working in Guinea-Bissau, and he even told me Colombians build big-ass houses there because they're making so much damn money from selling drugs. And you have government officials involved in the selling of drugs. So this is just a 21-gun salute to a man who taught me a lot of things. Taught me about self-sufficiency. Taught me about starting from the bottom. Taught me about carrying yourself in a certain way. Definitely taught me about, knowing your enemy. So, 21-gun salute, Feliz Anniversao for Cabral. La lucha continua. I'm a Cabralist to the very end. I'm a Sankarist to the very end. Because what they stood for, I stood for, I stand for, and I'll continue to stand for it. Whether these, whatchamacallits like it or not. Whether these colonizers like it or not, I'm going to continue to stand for it. And even if it costs me my life, I continue to stand for it. That's just how it is. But let me go make this birthday cake for Cabral. And I'll get out y'all later with some more videos. And leave your thoughts and leave your comments at the bottom if you can relate to this video. Fula signing out. Inshallah.